Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Transitions to Cumbernauld Academy presentation. My name is Mark Cairns. I'm the head teacher of Cumbernauld Academy. Delighted so to be. And with me this evening is Vicky Hart, and we're going to take you through the transition programme to Cumbernauld Academy for Primary 7s this year. As you all know only too well, this year, as well as last session, the actual transition programme where young people and parents come into the school to see the building, to meet the teachers, can't be done in the same way as it traditionally has been. Perhaps you might think no bad thing. Well, last year's transition programme, you'll hear from the students about that later on, was very much welcomed, although not perhaps as ideal as you would like it to be out with a COVID situation. So hopefully this evening you'll get a good flavour of everything that we'll do to ensure that we look after your children in their transition to Cumbernauld Academy.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Vicky Hart and I'm the DHT in charge of the transition programme. On this slide you'll see some information that we had regarding our very successful transition programme that we've worked on for a number of years to ensure the smooth transition from primary into secondary. You'll see there on the slide the programme that we had running from October right the way through to May, and within that programme there's a number of events that took place to allow pupils to visit the school, to allow them to participate in classes and to give information to parents with regards to all of the processes that we would go through. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we had to rethink our whole programme, which was quite devastating that we were not allowed to bring the children into the school. So we changed our programme and we created a virtual transition. That virtual transition allowed us to make sure that we had the contact with all of our young people and engage them in learning throughout the period of lockdown, but allowed them to get the opportunity to meet with staff, to look at the school building, albeit virtually, but giving them information that was really important to them to make them feel a sense of ease about coming to the Academy in August 2020. So you'll see there that we created a Teams page, and on that Teams page there was a number of videos from our staff, our pupils, and lots of information about the faculties. We had a virtual assembly where we were able to answer any questions the pupils had, and the pupils really engaged with gusto in the faculty projects that were put on Teams. And from my own personal point of view, being able to go onto the Teams and see the work that they were producing, it was absolutely fantastic. And then there was a weekly quiz where they all got the opportunity to socialise with one another and get to know one another through Teams. So that virtual transition was hugely successful, and that's something that we will continue to look at and hopefully be able to, as time moves on, given government guidelines, be able to look at bringing children into the school in small groups in May, but there'll be more information on that as the slides move on.
So that's the bit about the transition. What actually happens in school? So first and foremost, my job as a head teacher is to make sure that I look after your children and to make sure that they're happy here. But we do that through the curriculum, principally. So what is the curriculum? What does the curriculum now look like in secondary schools? Many of you will have children currently at Cumbernauld Academy or recently at Cumbernauld Academy. So you'll have an idea of the broad general education, the BGE in other words. And that's the framework through which young people learn in S1 to S3. So you can see on the diagram here that up until P7, young people are working on the broad general education up until pretty much second level. Some young people will come to high school at first level, some at second level, and some will already be working on third level. So this is really just a general barometer around where most young people would be at that particular stage. So the broad general education, pretty much level 2 into level 3 is where we're at in S1. You can see the 8 curricular areas there. There'll be no surprise to you that all young people will study subjects in those particular areas, and that we make sure through our tracking programme that all students in S1 to S3 are on track, and when they're not on track, i.e. at the level at which we would expect them to be, that we would be letting you know and be in contact with you around how we can work together to ensure that they do get back on track.
We're now going to move on to a typical week in the life of a first year pupil, and this timetable is there just to allow yourselves and your children to see what a day would look like. Currently we have 3 longer days and 2 shorter days. So the Wednesday and Friday we finish at 5 to 3, and the Monday, Tuesday and Thursday we finish at 3:45. Mr. Cairns is now going to speak to you a wee bit about the change to the number of periods in the day, which will come into effect from August 2021. So the timetable will look slightly different than what you see at the moment.
So currently we have 33 periods in the week, and that's the same for all North Lanarkshire secondary schools. As Vicky says, from August 2021 we will be moving all schools to a 32 period week, and the models for the timetables are currently being discussed. I think what can be safe to say is that all the schools in the north locality, so in Cumbernauld, Christ, Scythe, all the schools will have the same starting and finishing times across the north locality. So it's likely that there will be, there'll be different models that we are discussing, and I'll keep you informed with the progress of those discussions as they take place.
We mentioned previously about how we would monitor and track the progress of all our young people as they're travelling through the broad general education. Up on the screen there is just an example of how we would do that. The information is gathered over 4 periods. There will be a parents' evening, and there will be a comment report and 2 tracking reports. And on those reports you'll get information on all of the subjects that your child will be studying. And you'll see there that it allows us to have an idea and an overview of how the children are doing in all of their subjects. And the table below is the pupil support are able to use that information to be able to track progress, but also to be able to contact you as an early intervention and to make sure that we are putting everything in place to support your child. So we use this tracking quite rigorously, and it gives us a lot of information and data to be able to make sure that your child is on course.
Supporting young people. I mean, if there were ever a time where support was going to be considered really, really important, surely it's at the time of a global pandemic. Well, actually, I would argue that in Cumbernauld Academy, supporting young people comes before anything else. As I said earlier, our job is to make sure that your children are safe, first of all, and happy when they're at school. There are many, many pressures, as you know, on young people just now. Young people's mental health is something that we're all particularly concerned with. And in Cumbernauld Academy, we have a large number of people and really good systems to ensure that, first of all, young people are able to tell us when they're not managing as well as we would hope, and that we are able to put in place specific support for them to ensure that they do feel as well as they can, feel as positive as they can about their lives and about their school, that they have a sense of belonging to Cumbernauld Academy, that this is their school and the school belongs to them. We are here as a staff to support them and to support you as parents to ensure that the time that your children spend at Cumbernauld Academy are indeed the very best years of their lives. So to support pupils, we have a really strong pupil support team. We have 3 houses in the school with 2 pupil support teachers and a deputy head teacher allocated to each of those houses. We also have very strong support for learning faculty, which is intrinsically linked to the English department. We also have a language and communication support centre, which explicitly supports almost 50 young people who have a diagnosis of being on the autistic spectrum. And for the last year, we've developed an outstanding pupil parliament, which ensures that the voices of all students in the school are heard. And the committees for the pupil parliament are very active in ensuring that the views of young people are being able to take forward in white papers where we can then resource specific improvements to the systems within Cumbernauld Academy. So for us, the young people come first, and that can only happen if we all work together to support all pupils, not just our most vulnerable pupils.
It's important at the moment, I think, that we allow you the opportunity to meet some of our new first year pupils who have gone through their transition, and they're going to tell you a wee bit about their experiences of the transition programme and their experiences settling into the academy. Enjoy.
So my experience for starting high school was a bit scary, but there was nothing to really be scared about. Everyone in your classes are really nice, and your teachers are really understanding about how you just came from primary 7 to S1, so they're really understanding and do support you, as well as your pupil support teachers.
Quite fun because we got to paint and art and decorate cookies and do experiments.
I mean, at first, of course, you're a bit nervous, but after the first few days, it went away for me. I mean, started making friends, that made it a lot easier. Knowing people you can talk to, sit beside, have a laugh, that definitely does make transition easier. I much rather enjoy high school, just seems a lot more free, different classes make it a more enjoyable experience.
I had people to talk to if I didn't know where to go, and plus I made many new friends on the first couple of days. The hardest thing transitioning during COVID was my knowledge, as my primary 7 year was cut short and I knew I had a lot of learning still to do. So I was quite worried about not having as much of the knowledge as everyone else in my class. However, all the S1 teachers went over primary 7 work again with you, so we all got caught up to speed and we were on the same level. So nobody was really worrying about that.
You didn't know what you were going to do because you didn't know where the classes were, and you were scared that you were going to get lost and things, and get embarrassed or something to ask someone about it. And if you didn't know all the knowledge in the class you had, I just got to know what we were doing and things, and then it became easier to know around the school.
The hardest thing to adjust to was the double periods we have. It was a bit complicated with the week A, week B, but in the time you're in the same class is a lot longer than primary. But after the first few weeks, I just felt normal, felt like a single period.
Probably the restrictions, because it's different and it's nothing that you're used to, but it definitely does get easier.
For me, it was the rules such as the double periods, because when you first plan out your timetable, there was kind of confusing. However, after a few days, it'll be easier to look at your timetable and stuff. And plus, maybe the first day or something, the double periods may seem long. However, once you get used to it, it seems like a single period, and the single period feels like 5 minutes.
The hardest thing probably is staying 2 meters apart from everyone, and keeping your hands sanitized and all that, and remembering your mask.
Well, the hardest thing for me was having to watch who you're with, because my mum and dad are both vulnerable and at risk.
It was really my pupil support teacher and just my normal class teachers that helped me settle into school, because they were really understanding with everyone, and they were just really kind and supportive about it.
Went to the pupil support, and we got your timetable and things, and the teachers like told you what to mark, what you've got like week A and week B, and that we have double periods, so we don't need to move around as much. And you got like told in your pupil support where you have to go after that class, and you got to tour around the school as well.
Friends, just knowing that people you can have a laugh with, just talk to, makes you feel better. And also people support teachers, they're really approachable when you come and talk to them, and they listen to you and they can make you feel better.
What made it easier was the people support teachers. They were very like, you can come talk to me if you need anything. And also your friends, because you're all in the same boat. You're all going through the exact same thing, and it's not just you, so you're not alone.
For me, it was like the people support teachers, because if you had any questions, you can just go to them and they'll answer it. And also, there's like friends that are confused as you, so you don't feel alone or anything. And also, if the people support teacher can't help, there's also like other teachers, or like the head teacher or the deputy head teacher, for example, that can help you.
Probably the people support teachers, because like you could go up to them whenever during the day and tell them how you feel and all that.
For me, it's having teachers to get you to classes if you're lost, having Mr. Cairns or Miss Hart to go to. So I think just having the teachers open whenever to come to is just a great thing.
I think it's good because you get more support than primary school and high school, and I also like the fact that there's more classes and you can get more experience in high school. For example, like music, science and art, you wouldn't really get that in primary school when you get that like multiple times a week.
Myself a bit of advice for going through the transition again. I would tell myself not to worry as much as I did, because it's not worth it. Everything's fine in Cumbernauld Academy and everyone's really supportive, so there's no need to worry as much as I did.
The advice I would give to myself is that like if I got lost, you would just need to ask one of the teachers where to go, and they would help you and like take you to your class, and not like think everything's going to be bad or anything.
I would say try and make new friends, not too fast but not too slow as well. Friends are really useful. They can help get through this because you're not alone.
And one piece of advice I would give is remember you can ask for help.
Do not worry about like not fitting in or losing friends, because you will lose friends at some point. However, you will make new friends which will like stay with you for maybe like the year or something. And also, if you are stuck on anything, you have teachers to go to.
Trust more people for like this, what's going on.
Open up more and just stop shoving down all those negative emotions and just actually tell someone what's going on in your head, because if no one knows, they can help.
Hello, my name is Henry Phillips and I'm a newly appointed Principal Teacher of Transition. My role will be to work on the transition programme, helping to ensure it is as smooth and reassuring for students as possible. Two of the items I'd like to develop this year will be our video database and drop-in sessions for parents. The video database is important because, in the absence of face-to-face meetings, students can use them to get to know their teachers and school. There will be videos from different departments featuring activities that look to engage both children and parents, as well as videos discussing the change itself and how to manage the stress and anxiety that this can cause. The drop-in sessions will work in conjunction with parent focus groups due to start next term. They will run along with your primary school, most likely through Microsoft Teams. The drop-in sessions will focus on giving parents the opportunity to voice any concerns they might have directly to me or another member of staff, without having to book an appointment or commit to joining a focus group. Having a child that is transitioning to secondary school can be really stressful, and we want to know what your concerns are in order to help.
Throughout the process of transition, it's very important that we look at how we're supporting all our young people moving from primary into high school. We offer an enhanced transition programme which begins in January, round about the end of January, where our Homeschool Partnership Officer, Jacqueline Love, works with a number of pupils who are perhaps experiencing a bit more anxiety about coming to high school. We would speak to the primary heads and the primary teachers for nominations of pupils that might benefit from this programme. And this allows us to ensure clear communication and the transition for all of those young people. At the moment, we are developing that programme, and there will be more information on that will be transferred to the primaries round about the middle of January, and nominations will come forward. This will be small groups that will be invited to take part in some activities to allow for them to find out a wee bit more about the high school. One thing that we did develop during the lockdown period was our Twitter feed. So we have a dedicated Primary 7 Twitter page, which was a brilliant way of communicating with parents and young people about the resources that were being added onto the Teams page, but also allowing you as parents to see what was going on, and a direct link to our main page for Cumbernauld Academy. I can't stress enough how important it is for you to get involved in the social media side of the school and sign up for our website, where you'll get alerts of everything that's going on in the school. Follow us on Twitter and sign up for our school app, because all of the information that you require will be on there. And part of our website, there is a transition page, and on the school app, under the transition page, there is a Primary 7 Parents Information booklet. That booklet was developed a number of years ago with a parent focus group who were looking for additional information with regards to the process. So that information is all there on our website for you to look at. Move on now to the transition plan for 2021. You'll see there is our timeline, and these are the things that we are intending to do. So if you're looking along the timeline, you'll see there that the term 2, which will be January onwards, we'll be gathering the information for the Enhanced Transition Programme, and that will start. And we'll also be starting the virtual transition lessons from the faculties, so engaging the pupils on the Teams page. In term 3, we're hoping, government guidelines permitting, to be able to invite small groups of Primary 7 pupils to the school for a tour of the building and get the opportunity to meet with some staff just to allow them into the school, and hopefully everything will be in a position to be able to do that, and perhaps a social event to allow pupils to get together and meet one another. I will be going to all of the primaries and meeting with the Primary 7 staff alongside the pupil support team to gather information on every single child, to make sure that if there are GIRFME plans in place, that that information is being transferred, and any information that we need that will be relevant to the transfer process. I'll also mention at this point that there can be and will be meetings set up for parents that are maybe wanting to meet individually, just to have a chat about their child. If there's any concerns, then we're happy to accommodate that. And then when the children arrive, there will be in August, there will be the settling in period and lots of opportunities for them to meet with their pupil support teacher and us to engage with parents on any concerns they may have.
So I hope by now you've had a chance to see a lot of the work that's going on, a lot of the planning that has gone on in school to try and ensure that when your children come here, they're as familiar as they can be with the systems within the school, with the curriculum, with the teachers, etc. But for me as a head teacher, and I think also for me as a father of 3 children currently at school, relationships are key in every single school. Relationships are the medium through which everything is done. Learning and teaching is done through really good relationships. School trips, school shows, school clubs, football teams, all of the things that we really enjoy in school happen through relationships. And we have been outstandingly good in Cumbernauld Academy at developing and maintaining excellent relationships. Relationships within the school, between young people and their teachers, between young people and other support staff within the school. We are always looking to develop very positive relationships with parents, to be as accessible to parents as we can be, to listen to the concerns of parents, and to offer clear professional advice to parents around the curriculum for their children. And we're always looking to ensure that young people have really good opportunities to support each other through peer support. So we've got a number of programmes in the school in the past where older students were able to support younger students. We're trying to develop support programmes where now through COVID, young people in the same year group can support each other. We are well aware of issues around mental health, and that the ethos in the school is very much a positive ethos where everyone has a clear role to support everyone else. So the word community that everybody laughs at when I used to be able to give assemblies on a regular basis is lived out in Cumbernauld Academy. We are a learning community. We're a community of hope. We're a community that's really positive, that's solution focused, and we're a community that produces young people who are really successful and who are able to contribute positively to society. So when your young people come to Cumbernauld Academy, before they arrive, they will understand that relationships are key. They come first, and they're absolutely vital in ensuring that we overcome any difficulties when they do arise.
What you'll see in front of you is our recently developed parent charter. We actually launched this last year at the Primary 7 Information Evening. So this time last year this was launched. We worked collaboratively with a group of parents and the Parent Council on developing the charter. This was about working on the relationships and engaging parents and allowing them to see and think about things that they might want to discuss with their children at home about school. But it's a way of kind of prompting conversations and providing information about what we do as a school and what parents can be doing at home to help support their young people. So this is a kind of slide. You'll find the parent charter on our website, and if you're clicking on any of these questions, that will take you to a link that will provide you more information. So if you're looking, for example, at contacting pupil support and you click on that link, it will give you information about the pupil support teachers, what their role is and how to contact them. So this is a really good informative piece of work that was done in collaboration with the parents, which has given us lots of information regarding the transition and regarding the broad general education, and we're now developing that for the senior phase.
We have a really successful parent council. Now that doesn't mean people coming along and just agreeing with the head teacher. The parent council challenges me as the head teacher to do the best that we possibly can as a school for the young people. The role of the Parent Council in Cumbernauld Academy is one of support and challenge for the head teacher and the staff in the school. We want the best for young people. We need a parental perspective on all of the school improvements. We need the Parent Council to approve the school improvement plan, or is now called the school action plan. And we will need the support of you as parents in the future to ensure that Cumbernauld Academy continues to thrive the way that it has done since its conception in 2014. So the role of the Parent Council is not just about fundraising, although we are very good at that. It's far more important, far more about school improvement and being an active part of ensuring that Cumbernauld Academy is the best school that it possibly can be. In Katrina Pettigrew-Smith, we have an outstanding chair. Incidentally, this will be her last year as the chair of the Parent Council. So if any of you parents are interested in getting involved in the Parent Council, you might also think about potentially becoming the chair of the Parent Council for the following in the future, because that's a role that's coming up. So I would encourage all of you to think very seriously about contributing to the life of Cumbernauld Academy through being an active member of our Parent Council.
So we're at the end of our presentation. Again, I would just like to stress the importance of joining us and following our school website, where you'll be able to get all of the information regarding the day-to-day business of the school. Follow us on Twitter and sign up to our school app. We're now going to finish the presentation and hand it over to a question and answer session. So we look forward to any questions you may have for us. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.